All right. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday, and welcome to your Thursday training. We are starting our new series, Seller Listing Mastery. We have wrapped up the title, contract to closing process for realtors, and we picked that apart. We picked that apart for 12 weeks. And so now we are launching into the next component or our next focus, our listing lab series, which is seller listing mastery, building a repeatable model for seller representation. Building a repeatable model for seller representation. Keyword repeatable, right? A lot of familiar faces in the room. If any of that I've had not had an opportunity to meet before, I want to say welcome to Purchase Ready Lab Academy's Thursday weekly training. My name is Ray Cole Jackson. I'm a South Florida real estate attorney. A little bit about me personally, if we've never met before. I attended the University of Florida, so I always say go Gators. I just like to do that in case there's any Seminoles in the room. I attended Santa Clara University School of Law in California, where I was the founder of the Real Estate Law Society. That is for law students that clearly had an interest in real estate as their area of specialty. We didn't have that before I got there in California, of all places. So, of course, I started. Came back home to Miami, got my LLM in real property development from the University of Miami School of Law. So, as always, secondarily, go Canes, right, Jay? Jay's in the room. And then I am a licensed realtor in Florida and Georgia. Also licensed loan officer in Florida and Georgia. Now I want to introduce to you guys, I want to spotlight for you guys a new member of the team that I am super, super, super excited about, Mr. Carlton Black. Mr. Carlton Black is one of our lead loan officers with our Purchase Ready lending team. He is new to the group. He's new to you all, but he's newest to you all, but he's been with conversating with us for a little while now. And Carlton, if you want to say hello, we're gonna have a more formal introduction of Carlton soon. He's also going to be on our lab office hours, and he's going to be a very integral part of the team. I will let you guys know this. You guys know that I'm very intentional. You know that I am very intentional about the not only the content that I present to you, but also the community that we build and the professionals that we work with. And so there was a conversation had about who could join the team and who can provide the level of professionalism, the level of direction and service that we always endeavor to provide to this group. So Carlton came highly recommended. We've had several conversations, and now he is here to join us. And so the same level of support that you guys get on the title side through the title team, we've now added a seasoned professional to our team in Carlton Black. Carlton, you want to say hello and give them the list of states that you're licensed in because I do not recall them all. Uh-oh, we got to unmute you.
Can you hear
There
me
you
now?
go.
Got me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, thank you, Nicole. Thank you for having me, and thank you for those kind words. I certainly hope I can live up to every one of those. I truly intend to do my best to do so. I've been in the business for I've been in the real estate business for, I'm going to date myself, for about 30 years. So,
Oof.
and I've been in all facets of it, realtor, investor, you name it, I've been part of it. I've been doing loans for the better part of 8 years now, and
Mhm.
got into the business just as a transition from my previous career. So I love this industry. I love helping people, particularly first-time home buyers, but people in general, to accomplish that American dream and get into a home. So I'm here just to do nothing but support the team and make sure that the realtors are very successful and that their brand is represented well when it's in my hands. So
Okay, no, that's
I look
great.
forward to answering any questions. I'm available. I work like realtors. I work when y'all work. I work on the weekends. I work at nights. You don't have that 9 to 5 loan officer when I'm involved. So yeah, so I'm here to answer any questions whenever they pop up.
We're super excited. Y'all give Carlton a hand. Y'all know I'm very particular. We've been having a lot of conversations about systems, right? And and processes and one person that you haven't had a chance to meet, the the grand wizard behind our branch is a Mr. Kevin Wildman. He is a man after my own heart. He has systems and processes built out that I was like, yes, this is what I'm talking about. So we're super excited about Carlton joining us. Carlton, even on the lending side, as we're going to talk about later on in the quarter, is very important because as we always talk about, we know that it all blends together, right? It all blends together. And having the loan officer, having Carlton available to have a conversation with you about um, when it comes to marketing your listings, let's go ahead and get ahead of it. What loan programs does this property qualify for, right? So that conversation can be part of your marketing. And so Carlton is going to be very instrumental in that. All right. With that being said, high level, high level, high level. This is our roadmap. This is what we are going to endeavor to complete in the next 11 weeks. Today, we are starting with our building the listing business model. So just a pattern interrupt. Today is truly going to be a conversation. I told the group during the office hours this morning, this series is going to be a pattern interrupt for you. Hopefully it's going to transform the way that you look at your business, particularly from the listing side, so that you look at listings as a component of a full business model, not just a transaction. Right? We're going to take our business from being transactional deal by deal by deal to how does this particular listing fit into the larger ecosystem of my business. And so from there, we're going to talk about lead gen, database nurturing, the intake process, all the forms, pricing strategies, CMAs, disclosures, preparing to launch your listing, marketing the listing, offer negotiation review and seller decision making, and then begin the contract to closing process. Ultimately, again, you guys know that the thing that I always preach to you is that you're operating a business, and businesses have systems, and systems are almost not almost they are more important than even the service that you provide because they impact how that service is delivered. Many of you probably don't know, but if you don't know, you will learn that Jeff Bezos is one of my favorite people. He's one of my favorite people, and the reason why he's one of my favorite people is because he's a systems person. Amazon is nothing but a logistics business. They're a logistics business. And they're so good at their logistics that you get a notification on your phone. Your package is 5 steps away. That is phenomenal. UPS can't even tell me where my package is. And Amazon, who's supposed to be a product business, is telling me when my package is 5 steps away. And guess what? If you have not been paying attention, they've done that so well that guess what? Now they're offering their logistics business to other companies. So whereas companies was going to UPS and FedEx for mailing services, they can now go to Amazon. I love Jeff. Anywho, like we always do about this time, grab the handout, labhandout.com, labhandout.com. And it's a thick one for you guys. You're gonna definitely want to print this one out. I know sometimes y'all grab it and you may peruse it, but this is you're gonna print this one out. You have to because you have homework. Welcome to Q3. You actually have homework this time. All right. So today's discussion is powered by Purchase Ready. Purchase Ready, as you guys know, is an ecosystem of brokerage transaction support services to help you do business and do business better. Purchase Ready Title and Escrow has launched. We are super, super, super excited about that. We are one brand, one ecosystem. We have Purchase Ready Title, Purchase Ready Lending, Purchase Ready Legal. We are moving and shaking. I have to be the first partaker of systems and processes and streamlines, right? You guys should have known if I was hammering you so much about it, it probably was something that I was dealing with myself. And so, with that being said, we are super excited about having launched that ecosystem, that wraparound service for you guys from learning to closing. From learning to closing. From learning to closing. We found that our best clients are the ones who have learned about the service, the product that they're engaging in, right? So the whole purpose, the whole premise, and the foundation of Purchase Ready is from learning to closing. And you guys know that that's what we do here in this group. We learn to get you guys to the closing table. All right. So, with that being said, seller listing mastery. And Rihanna, do me a favor, drop the link to the handout in the chat for those new folks that are coming in because we know that they can't see prior chats. All right. All right. So, just one more time because I want to make sure. Okay. I gotta make sure I'm recording because I'm not saying all this again. This is a lot of content. So, seller listing mastery. We are this quarter building a repeatable business system for Florida seller representation. And the whole idea is by the time we complete this quarter, you're going to move from isolated transactions, just looking at each transaction in isolation, to looking at it as a continuous compounding growth machine, right? You're going to stop chasing transactions and you're going to start building a real estate engine. And I'm going to hope to not go too fast with this content. We're going to meet our hour. You're going to have to listen to this again. I assure you, you're going to have to listen to this again and you're going to have to sit with the handout because many of us, when we came into the business, we didn't realize that we were coming into a business. You're developing a business around the service that you provide. And so when you are coming in as a realtor, because you're so singularly focused on a transaction, we forget to figure out that, wait a second, this transaction is a component of an entire business. So the core concept is true real estate wealth isn't built transaction by transaction. It's built by operating a repeatable seller representation business that continuously generates, converts, and multiplies opportunities. You guys know that you could sell your business if you build it out. Your listings are inventory. Your listings are the inventory of your business. And so that is the idea that we want to develop. That is the pattern interrupt that we should get by the time we finish this quarter. So what are we going to do? We're going to assess by the end of this quarter, we're going to assess our current reliance on individual effort versus documented systems. If you need to hand off how you um, send a file over to title, is that documented? Can you give that to someone so that can be, if a seller said, I need you to come, you just went under contract, and the seller said, I need you to come, a seller, potential lister says, I need you to come now. Come meet with me now so we can list my property. Do you have a documented system that you could hand that file over, the one that just went under contract, hand that off to someone so that you can go and get the next listing? Right? Someone probably said, yeah, I just give it to my TC. Great. Now, what about some other unique processes in your business that you do? Like you said, it's all in my head. It needs to come out of your head so that someone else can handle it. All right. Not only that, and you don't have to raise your hand exactly, but some of this is just going to be like, as we say, rhetorical questions. How many of you feel like your business drops to zero every time you close a deal? Like every time you close a deal, you're like, oh, now I got to start all over again. Got that one closed. Now let's crank her up again. If you feel that way, you're missing some systems. And particularly, you're probably missing leverage. Leverage is where someone takes it from this particular point and they carry it to the finish line. Joanne said yes, right? If every time you close one transaction, you feel like, here we go again, versus it being a continuous motion, this quarter's for you. If every time you close a deal, you can't look back and see the other one coming down the conveyor belt, this quarter's for you. If every time you close a transaction or you list a property, there's crickets, there's nothing else, there's no repurposing of that listing except to just focus on getting that listing sold, this quarter is for you. Because there's more to it than just selling that one particular listing, right? That is what we call the transaction approach. You look at that listing as a transaction. I need to get it on the market and get it sold. That's it. Find the seller, list the property, market the property, negotiate a contract, close it, return to zero. Find a seller, list the property, market the property, negotiate the property, close it, drops to zero. Find the property. I know that's right, Peter. Here's the blind spot. What we want to do is we want to measure the continuous funnel, not just the end result. Because if we do that, if we focus on just the closing, we are neglecting the entire pipeline and we're starving ourselves of future business. You hear this all the time. And I'm gonna tell you guys, like, nobody's immune to this because it's just kind of like feast or famine. You've heard this before. Stop focusing on what's under contract to the exclusion and the neglect of what's coming behind it. We hear it all the time. And I'm going to challenge you guys to put yourself in an environment where you're reminded. That's a coach, that's accountability. Because when you don't have that, you start to drift. You start to drift back to your same patterns. You want to always put yourself in a position where you're being pulled to your highest ideals. Many of us work independently, but you should not coach yourself alone, right? So here's the difference between a transactional based business. Again, you saw the drop off versus when you build a systematic approach to it. That one listing should multiply. It should multiply into relationships. It should multiply into buyer leads. It should multiply into other listings. It should multiply into market share. It should multiply into people notoriety, people knowing you being in their face, right? The transaction focused approach causes your business to repeatedly return to zero after each closing. We're gonna keep saying it until you're like, okay, Rico, I get it. I get it. You beat me over the head. I know I'm hitting zero every time. Okay. Now we're good? Okay. Now, so here's the shift. We're going to shift from being focused on one current property or listing to actively managing an entire pipeline. You are the orchestrator of an entire pipeline, and you absolutely can do that. You absolutely can do that. We're going to shift from being the only person with all the process in our head, relying from going from memory on, oh, was that done? Did we get that? Did we order the? No, we're going to have a documented service standard. I was having a conversation earlier with Peter, and we talked about, you can set your service standard. You can set how you want your sellers to be serviced. That's fine. And sky's the limit. And do not settle because that's what sets you apart. Because truth be told, and this is what I tell the title team, the lending team, we're all providing the same service. The thing that sets us apart is the experience. So the process does not change. This is why I like transactions and not litigation, guys. If you've ever had a conversation with me, this is why I love transactions. They might get a little hairy at every module, but they run the same boop, 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 boop. And if you get that foundation down, you can start adding some some little sauce on it. That's the experience. But we want to document that. And then the last thing is momentum. Here's the shift from the transaction based to businesses system is the momentum. That is the biggest difference because momentum is lost when again you're focusing on one transaction versus saying, hold on, this one transaction is supposed to do all these things because all these things are what's going to bring more into the pipeline, more business into the pipeline. Okay? So, pattern interrupt. Think to yourself, what is the single biggest bottleneck you experience when you're trying to manage someone's three or more listings? Maybe even two. Someone's like, three, Ray Cole, I'm trying to get two going. Right? What is the biggest, for those of you who are, you're a little busy, Peter, a couple other of you, what is the biggest bottleneck? What is the biggest, I'm the bottleneck. She said, be, I mean, you probably are. Funny. You want to identify what is the bottleneck and why am I the bottleneck? One thing that I know for sure, and this is fair, this is so fair, is that you want to make sure that nothing falls apart. Well, I'm going to continue to use this example. Jeff Bezos, as we know, he started off packaging the books. Can y'all imagine if Jeff Bezos' thought process was, oh, Renee, you didn't package that just right. If he never got out of the way, oh God, you guys are like so mad at Jeff. Cause like Jeff, seriously, I could order something tonight and it's at my door by 4 a.m. Because he got out of the way. Because he simply documented what the expectation was, and then you just hold people accountable to that execution. So what I want to say to you is there are other people that can do what you do, and dare I say better than you. Ooh, dare they can they do they can send an update better than me? Never. You'll be surprised. All right. So that is one of the first things to know. Um, Steal this blueprint. Um, where in your business, and like we talk about with the bottleneck, where in your business are you wasting time reinventing the wheel for every new client? Every new client, you like, oh, we'll do it this way. Oh, maybe I'll do it this. Guys, from sellers to buyers, please don't reinvent the wheel. You will burn yourself out and you will never grow. You will never, you just can't. You just cannot. So if you need to tweak something, take a beat and say, is this something that really needs to be tweaked in my business? Or am I just, I don't have systems that I'm following and I'm just being torn. If the seller tells me they want to, meet with me at 9 o'clock at night on a Sunday, I just go, no, if that's not your hours, then you can't do that, right? And even the systems. So just think about that. So here's where we are. Success leaves identifiable patterns. One thing, I need to get it together. One thing that we need to know, and I always say this to you guys, if you see someone else doing it, you can do it too. For those of you that see agents that are, closing 50 transactions with their team per month, 50 deals per year, 100 deals per year, that's a pattern. They're not doing that by chance. There's a model to that. And so, one of the first things that we want to do is submit ourselves to a model. The worst thing you can do is say, I got it, I'll figure it out. Well, why would you do that? There's clearly a way that wins. So, let's look at the proven model first. Let's consistently implement that. And then we can get creative and personalize it once we have that proven model. Now, one thing I'll tell you guys, I forgot to tell you this. This conversation, I told the lab, is built on this trusty dusty. You got to give credit to whom credit is due. Guy took the time. This is the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. This book is probably, like you said, Carlson, this book is probably 30 years old. It's probably 30 years old. But the thing is, it works. The models work. So there are models in this book, and when I was with KW, I taught this book, so I got kind of have it committed to not in full detail, but the concept of it committed to memory from having taught it so many times. But guys, get yourself a guide on you're operating a business. Get yourself on how to build your business exactly. Jay said, I pick up this book every time. She said, I need to take it off my shelf. Every time I need a reminder to get back to basics. Get back to basics. And this one, I don't even know how I got gifted this one. Probably because I taught him this one is tabbed. Oh, oh, with the little coil. Oh. So this is the foundation of what we're going over because it works. Okay? It works. So we are going to develop a model. You're going to consistently implement the model. The worst thing you can do is it doesn't work. Peter said I should really open mine. The worst thing you can do is Not Work It. It's The Millionaire Real Estate Agent by Gary Keller. The Millionaire Real Estate Agent by Gary Keller. Yep. Um, the worst thing you can do is not work the model and say it doesn't work. Well, you didn't work it. Did you really work it? Right? So instead of replacing and trying to come up with your own thing, you're welcome. Trying to come up with your own thing. Let's start with the model first and then replace it with your own sauce. All right. So with that being said, let's go high level on the 12 stage representation of a seller life cycle, and then we're going to drop down. We're going to break this up into three sections, and then we're going to be out of here. Okay. Uh, First step. This is the life cycle. This is the life cycle, high level, the life cycle of a seller relationship. Of course, we attract a potential seller, capture their information, nurture that relationship once you have their information. We want to qualify whether or not they're ready. Are they ready now? Are they ready later? Once we qualify them, if they are ready now, they say, we schedule the appointment. We present, of course, not just the property value, but our value in the relationship to represent them. Secure the listing agreement. Prepare the property for market. Launch the property to market. Even that is a documented process. How many of you have your go to market launch documented step by step and it's not in your head? You have a documented checklist of here's everything we do to take a property to market. If you don't, you will, right? Once it's on market, how do we market the property? How do we communicate around the property being on market? Next step, we review offers and negotiate the offers. We're under contract. Now we manage contract to close. And when we close, that's not it. We want to follow up and request referrals. These folks should now be in your database. These folks are now in your past clients. They're getting emails. They should be getting a phone call quarterly, just checking in, right? How things going? How's the home? Do you need anything? Do you know anyone that needs anything? Right? So that is the high level life cycle and those three major components of it. So which of these steps in this 12 step life cycle do you think that you neglect the most? Again, we're gonna think through this today. We're not gonna just listen to Ray Cole spout at us. We're gonna take a beat and say where in this process, what in this process do I neglect the most? Is it attracting leads? Is it capturing the appropriate information, their name, their email address, their phone number, so I can communicate with them? Is it nurturing? Once I have it, they never hear from me again. I had great intentions. I don't have a CRM, Ray Cole. I don't even know what I have a Excel spreadsheet. I've been intending to get a CRM. Uh, am I bad at qualifying? Do I run out at the first person that says, yes, I want to sell my home? They want to sell a 200,000 home for 2 million, $200,000 home for 2 million. And we ran out there, right? So you want to look at where am I, which area do I neglect the most? I can tell you the part that's going to hurt your business if you neglect it the most is going to be, of course, lead gen, right? Peter, were you going to say something? Uh-oh, I muted you in case you were. So here are the three L's. Let's get into the meat of it. That was just to get you to, I guess, the basis of my case. Here are the three L's to scale your business. Leads. That's the first component. The first thing is leads. You got to have opportunities. You got to have opportunities. You got to have people to contact to potentially create listings. Listings, 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 and then leverage. These are the three pillars of your scaled business: a lead pillar, a listings pillar, and then a leverage pillar. If you had to grade your business right now, Which of these pillars is your strongest and which is your weakness? Are you weak on leads, but you're like, Ray Cole, once I get them on the contract, I got it. And I got a bomb transaction coordinator. I even have a marketing VA, everything. But I don't know. I just don't have enough leads. I just don't have enough leads. Rihanna, drop the link to the handout in the chat, please. All right. Or you get the listing and you're like, I get tunnel vision, Ricole. I get tunnel vision. I don't look back to bring in more leads, to create more listings. I get tunnel vision. I just don't want it to not close. That's the weakest part of my business. I don't do all the other things with this listing that I should do. No one else knows about it. I don't get any buyer leads from it. I don't let anybody else in the community know about being able to sell their property, what this property is selling for, right? I don't put it on social media. Nobody knows that I even closed. Nobody knows what's going on in my business. Right? I just get tunnel vision. I just caught up I get caught up in paperwork. Or you're like, I got leads, I got listings, but then I'm up all night because I'm the one communicating with title and the seller and the buyer's agent and the inspector and everybody else because I have no support. I have no leverage. Everything is on me once I'm under contract. I have no ability to grow because it's just me, right? Three pillars. All three of these need to be there, strong, and balanced so that you can scale your business, build your business on it. So let's hit the first one, leads. What does that look like? Creating and capturing opportunities. All sorts of type of leads you can look to. FSBOs, for sale by owner. FSBO, I don't want to assume that everybody knows these acronyms. So FSBO, for sale by owner. Expired leads. These are FSBOs are folks that are trying to sell the property themselves. Expires, those who had the property on the market and for some reason or another it did not sell. Most likely, what is it? Overpriced. Landlords, their leads, they can get exhausted. I don't want to do this anymore. I just need to sell this property. I'm tired of managing it, right? People that want to know the value of their property. 1 year movers. This is true. I was a 1 year mover before. I sold a property, lived in the property for a year, and then moved again. Now I'm a realtor, so I listed my own property, but that literally happens where people will make a transition move, right? Of course, referrals, life events. And this is not even exhaustive of all the potential lead sources. It's just an idea. But what you guys have to understand from this portion, this pillar, is that the top of this funnel, you see how wide it is? It just has to be super wide. One or two leads per month, week is likely not going to get you to your income goal. Additionally, the purpose of lead generation is not to collect names, it is to create relationships. So once you get them in, you have to be systematically communicating with them. That's how you move them through the funnel. You move them through the pipeline by communicating with them. You capture them and then you nurture them systematically. That type of funnel has to be huge, huge. And I like this. We flip the funnel so you can see the reason why this has to be so big. I'm gonna take my time on this, is because not every um, contact is gonna create a conversation. Not every conversation is going to convert to a listing. Not every listing is going to convert to a contract. If that were the case, how would we have expireds? And not every contract is going to close. Might have a title issue. Might have a crazy buyer, Miss Keith. And you got to start all over again. When it comes to the pillar of leads, I want you guys to don't skirt over this. This has to be huge. This funnel narrows down because every one of them is not going to convert. So whatever your income goal is, one of the things you're going to see in that handout is the handout says, what is your conversion rate? The conversion rate is saying, hey, you have a funnel. 100 leads do not mean 100 qualified appointments, 100 closings. 100 leads means some are gonna fall out. Conversion means some are gonna fall out, Candace. Uh-oh, Candace. Ah, we only have one left. You started with 10. All right? The funnel means some gonna fall out, Vicious. We need to start with more up here than this. All right? Now, when we talk about leads in the section that we go in further, we're really going to talk a lot about being strategic and intentional about where you market, where you prospect for leads. We talked about in office hours how if you, for example, you purchase leads from Mojo or Redx or any of the other lead services, you have the ability to generally get leads from all over the state or all over a region. But are you really going to drive from Boca to Fort Lauderdale, from Miami to Jupiter, from Wellington to? No, you're not going to do that. All right. Similarly, maybe you don't want to, maybe you want to focus on landlords, or maybe you want to focus in probate. So the point is, when we start talking about leads, I want you guys to know that you need to focus in. You want to focus in and you really want to go deep versus trying to go too wide. Because best case scenario, you do get someone to raise their hand and say, come meet with me. Yes, come meet with me. Yay, come meet with me. Come meet with me. Come meet with me. Can you drive, right? From Port St. Lucie to West Palm, back to Jupiter, back to Del Rey, back to Boca. Oh no, you can't. So when we get into the lead section, you got to focus. You got to focus because that is going to multiply your effectiveness. You're going to become very potent when you do that, right? So that's leads. Listings. Listings are important. Once we have dealt with leads and we know that we need to have a robust engine to give us enough to work with, once that lead converts to a listing, we got to work it. We can't go tunnel vision. We can't go tunnel vision, guys. We can't go tunnel vision and only look for the check. We cannot go tunnel vision and only look for the check because there's more that it can do. It's more that they can do. You need to use it to create exposure. Signs, websites, social media, email, open houses. People like open houses don't sell property. No, they don't. They don't. Most times they don't. But guess what they do? They bring in buyer leads, they bring in activity, they bring in eyeballs, they bring in contacts. They bring in contacts to build your database. Right? They don't sell properties, no. But they bring in market share and they see you and your nice face, and you're now the local agent. Jessica sells tradition. What do they also bring in? They bring in credibility, visibility, testimonials. You can teach folks about property and opportunities in that community. Again, we're stopping tunnel vision. You guys always hear about repurposing content, slice it, dice it. We take this recording, make it a blog, make it a couple YouTube shorts, make it a YouTube video, make it a couple YouTube shorts, make it a couple social media shorts, make it a handout, make it a lead magnet, take that listing and turn it inside out, upside down, not just the closing, right? And then, of course, is a lead gen asset to attract buyers, future sellers, neighborhoods, and investors. So, and then here's the other reason why listings should be the foundation of your business. Even if it's just one, and you're like, I really like buyers. Well, buyers want sellers, sellers want buyers. More than anything, look at this, guys. You can manage significantly more listings than individual buyers, right? A buyer, you got to drive around. We want buyers. We do. Now, we're not, but you should not build your business on buyers. I only work with buyers. No, no, no. We want buyers. We can't close without a buyer. I mean, that's why we got Carlton here. Carlton, qualify this person to purchase this property, please, right away. Appreciate you, sir. But we cannot build our business on that. We need to build our business on assets. The listing itself is an asset. You guys are realtors. Thinking we're telling folks buy real estate because real estate is an asset. It generates passive income. That 10 listings, you sitting here on training while 20 realtors are bringing buyers to your 10 listings, right? So you want to leverage that one listing. Here's another, just one more visual before we drop to the third pillar. One sign listing. Instead of just this here, which is the transactional, what we used to do, we get the listing, we market the property and we close. No longer. That's not us anymore. We take that property, we're getting neighborhood leads, we're getting referrals, we're getting buyer leads, we're getting future appointments. We are slicing and dicing it. The goal is not to just sell the house, but to capture, convert, and nurture the resulting inquiries. You should be getting inquiries. Remember, from now on, you're going to say the goal is not to just sell this house. The goal is to get more listings, more leads from this house. This is the carrot. This house can do more things than send me one closing. This listing, right? That's the thought process going forward. Now, this is just another visual of this infinite loop of what one listing can do for you if you do it right, right? Continuous momentum of a loop. Think about your last closing. Did it directly generate an additional lead for you? Why or why not? Your last listing, did you not get a buyer lead, a new seller lead, right? How do we make this a continuous loop? We want to always have ability to capture information from open houses. We want to always have the ability to capture that information. You want to see a little boy? You also want to contact, keep in contact, follow up post close, right? 30 days after closing to check in and then ask for referrals. Not successfully sold your home. Who else do you know may be looking to move this year? Again, slice and dice it. Slice and dice it. Okay? Listings. One last thing. You want to own the neighborhood. Visible market presence. Put your sign up. Put your photo on your sign, right? Put your photo, put your brand on your sign. Your open house signs should be branded, right? To your colors, to your logo. Your just sold mailers. In the lab, 2 days ago we went over EDDM. Everybody's heard of every door direct mail, EDDM, where you can just shoot a mailer out to a area, a postal code. You should be using that. Once you've identified an area, geographic area, use every door direct mail. Again, you want market share. Okay. So the last one, leverage. This is the last component. The last component. Scaling your capacity. This is where you can come in and you have 50 properties in your pipeline with, 10, 40 on the 40, 30 on the market, 20 under contract, and you are in class because you have leverage. How do we create leverage? How do we create capacity to do that without stressing out? First of all, once we leave here, you got to decide on the tools. What tools do I need to be able to scale? Do I have a CRM? Do I have a calendar? Do I have a software to create a CMA? What transaction platform do I use? What marketing templates do I use? You got to have technology, guys. You got to have technology. And I would recommend that your technology, as much as they can either be integrated or all in one, I would highly recommend it. The basis of your business is your tools. And I'm not telling you to spend a ton of money until you're making money either. Just what you need to have. You can always splurge as you make more money. But if you don't have a CRM, there's nothing for us to talk about. That's your first thing to do is go get a CRM. And a CRM is a customer relations tool that allows you to collect contacts, phone numbers, make notes in the file, send emails, right? And if it's preferably realtor based so that you can also potentially send out market reports would be great. So that's the first thing you need to do. And then from there, you build on that systems. How is the work completed? So what do we use to do the work? And then how was it completed? Your intake checklist, your communication schedules, your offer review process, your contract timeline, all that should be documented. Here's a quick way to do it. I think I mentioned this to you before. Go on Zoom, guys, hit record, talk through it, upload that recording to Chat GPT, and make it create your checklist for you. Or even talking to Chat GPT. Here's how I would prefer to onboard a seller. Here's how I would prefer for the communication to initiate between my team and the closing agent when a property goes under contract. And it'll create the checklist for you. Save that to, I would recommend, I don't know, I mean, some people are on Microsoft. I use the workplace platform personally. I use Google. So Google Drive, because the Google Drive, you can grab it from your phone, grab it from anywhere. Now it's on your drive. When you add a team member, give that team member access to your checklist. All your checklists are there and they're always there. That's your people who will perform the work. And again, you don't have to start anything with like you're not Amazon. You're not doing anything huge. Get yourself just 10 little checklists, right? For the 12 steps or 12 checklists for the 12 steps. And then that's it. And then just build on that, right? The idea is to be able to clone yourself. You're thinking, oh, nobody can do it like me. No, yes, they can. They can do it better. They can do it better. You're going to clone yourself. And the thing is, when you create checklists, you clone yourself because you've told the person this is how you need to do it. You can go one step further. If you are that detail oriented, you can even create email templates. This is the email you should use. It's already drafted. This is what you use at this step in the process. Okay? So that's cloning yourself. Visually, the first step of leverage, guys, most people think this is I'm gonna bust somebody's bubble right here because this is like an age-old issue. Everybody thinks I just need a VA. What the VA don't know what to do. The first form of leverage is a documented process. Because can I tell you, you want a nightmare? Bring somebody on and you don't have not one thing, not one workflow, not one checklist, not one guide, not one video to send them. You're going to wish to God that you never, ever engage that person. So the first form of leverage is a documented system. You can't get past this. So whatever, even if you need to go borrow it, there's Google some checklists, but at least have something that for that support to follow. And here's a hack for you, a pattern interrupt. Here's a zinger for you. Even you, before you bring on that person, you should work from those checklists. You should work from those checklists. That'll let you know whether or not you're missing anything. So don't you work from memory. You don't work from memory. Get your checklist, work from your own checklist, right? Use scripts instead of improvising your conversation. Script was work. Templates instead of recreating emails. Timelines instead of reacting to deadlines. Get ahead of it. Create your checklist. You don't work from memory. You use your own checklist yourself. Now, in your checklist, make sure you include all your forms, right? Include all your forms, all your compliance forms that must be there so nothing gets missed, right? Again, a reminder, if you hired an assistant tomorrow, do you have written instructions ready for them or would you train them from memory? Been there and done that. Right, Melissa? Yeah. Sometimes we just need to be reminded. We already knew this. We heard it before. Again, it's called drift. You get busy. You got to be reminded, hey, stop that. Stop it. Stop it. Stop focusing on that transaction. Let's slice and dice this. Let's get this out into the market. Let's get market share on this. Let's get this contract to close. with the TC so that you can now go back to top of funnel and make sure that the leads are coming in, right? You guys are now, you're going to see me in your head. Stop that. Stop it. Stop it. Right? So here's the big idea as we close out. The big idea is a listing-based system provides you with control over your time, your market, your future. It's all gears. This listing is a gear to give you market share, give you future business, and give you your time back. Imagine yourself, you're sitting, you're in class, you're learning how to lead gen more, to go more to top of funnel while you have 10 listings out there with other realtors showing, selling your listing. But it all started with the listing. Or you have a listing out there that's built, you love buyers, great. You have a listing out there that's creating more buyer leads, top of funnel, more buyer leads, top of funnel, because you have the foundation, you have the core of a business, right? Which is the listing. So developing that system, you're going to take back your time, right? You're going to take back your time and just be more organized. You're going to make sure that you have your forms standardized. Everything that you need is standardized. So in your handout, in your handout, you have, you have a lot. You have a 30-day you should have a 90-day plan. So we're gonna put this system into practice over the next we have 2 more weeks, 10 more sessions. In the next 30 days, you should have at least a defined, established 90-day target for how many seller listings you need to have. All right. You're going to have to define an exact lead gen action appointments. How many do I need? Again, we cannot be haphazard, right? We need to say, I know I need 100 leads because 100 leads generally convert to about 2 to 3 qualified leads. If I get, you know, for every 100 leads, I get one closing because everybody's just not ready right now. But I want to say this, if you do it right, you should not need 100 FISBOs. That's for sale by owners, right? There, this is Candace. Like, we got to think, work smarter, not harder. That's why we go after FISBOs. That's why we go after expired. These people have already raised their hands and said, I want to sell my property. They're just missing you to get them to the closing table, right? So again, today's conversation is for the purpose of high level. And then as we go through, we go deep and say, okay, well, how do I execute very intelligently on this piece? I don't want every lead. I can't, because at least not the leads I go after. I told them earlier today, one of the hacks, one of the benefits of just being good at what you do and everybody hear about you, even if you say I work tradition, they're gonna send you West Palm because you're always closing. I mean, right? And I'm not saying don't take West Palm, but that was handed to you. You didn't have to drive and go do the appointment and all the other things, like, right? That's handed to you. So one of the benefits of just being so good at your niche target market and doing the things that we talked about, which is getting market share with that listing, letting everybody hear about it, is you give what they say perception is reality. We got the perception that you got this on lock. Okay. All right, Miss Keys. When more? So we refer to you, right? So we're going to shift from hustle to a system. So today, many of you are like, me, I'm the bottleneck. I'm sorry. I don't have anything. I don't know. Ricole, stop asking me questions. What they say? Stop yelling at me. That may be where you are today. But by the 90-day, by the time we finish this session, trust me, guys, if you do nothing but get, your I would get your leverage down first. Get your leverage down first, because if you're and the leverage is easy. That's a TC. Once you get your leverage down, that removes you so that you can focus on your leads, right? That's an easy fix. Leverage is an easy fix. That's a TC with your documented processes. Make sure that they hit what you want to do, right? So if you commit to this, and again, I know some of you feel like, Ray Cole, this is like too much. No, it's not. It's just what we did not know we needed to do when we got into the business. Real estate school taught you how to get your license. They didn't tell you how to run a business. It's time to learn how to run a business, right? So if you commit to saying, I need to now learn how to run this business in 90 days, you'll feel better about it. I'm not saying you're not gonna have crazies. It's just what it is. Everybody has this because they're customers. But you'll still feel in more control of it. You'll know where you are and where you're going. You'll know why it happened. And you're like, as soon as I close this one, be on to the next one. And here's the other thing too. Not to neglect, not that you're gonna neglect that one difficult customer, but man, can I tell you, you just hold it a little differently when you have others in the pipeline. You just hold it, you just posture it a little bit different when you know you have others in the pipeline. All right. All right. Next steps. Make sure you get the handout. Make sure you print. This is a printout, guys. This is not we scan it. This is not the infographic week. This is the print it out. This is the write on it. This is the ball it up and start all over again. This is the I'm gonna print it out again next month, next quarter. I'm gonna print it out again next quarter and next quarter, next quarter. All right. Good to see you guys. Y'all enjoyed it. I'm glad y'all not mad at me because I'm telling you, when you have to have these hard conversations, you like, I want to be your friend, but I want to tell you, you're gonna burn out if you keep doing this. All right. Any questions? Woo, we got 30 seconds. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? All right.
I have one. I'm
There you
sorry. How
go.
y'all doing?
Go ahead.
I'm late. Hey, I'm on my phone, so I wasn't able to do the computer. So if I go back to the recording, will the handout be in there where I
Yes.
can print it out? Okay, great.
Yes.
All
But
right,
you can
thanks.
also, let me tell you, labhandout.com, right? Am I right,
O-
Rihanna? Labhandout.com?
Okay,
Lab handout. Always remember labhandout.com.
all
Question
right.
for you though, that
Yes.
handout is the 90-day plan. It's not the actual slides that you
No, we
used.
never get the slides. Nah.
Oh, I got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you.
don't we don't ever put the slides up. The
All
recording
right.
will be up though.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
All
Thank you,
right.
Nicole. Raquel, that was awesome information for free. Couldn't ask for better.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
As
And this
always, great information.
glad. The only thing I ask y'all to do is implement, execute. I don't want to see you frustrated. I don't want to see you frustrated. Reminder, we have office hours for those of you that are able to join. We're doing some things in these office hours. The office hours turn into mini Thursday trainings, but we're trying to stay on. But the office hours, ask me anything. If you have questions, do not neglect. If even if let me see how I can say this because I'm an employer myself. But we do have some folks that log on while they are otherwise occupied and just listen. Feel free to do that. This is not like you don't always have to be on camera, but it just helps to hear the information. So labofficehours.com every day from 10:30 to 11. Bring your questions, come and listen, co-work. Um, That's fine. And we'll see you then. For those of you, if by chance, and Joanne brought this to my attention, if by chance you're not getting text reminders, you should be getting text reminders. If you are not getting text reminders, email me, or you can actually email Rika because she's the one that's going to address it. So Rika, you should be able, you should scan this QR code. That's the system. Scan the QR code, put in your information. But if you're saying I've done that and I'm still not getting the text message, or I'm still not getting an email, email Rika, Rica, at purchaseready.com, and she'll look into the CRM, check your contact, and see what might be the holdup. All right. All right. Um, Actually, that's this slide. If you're missing text messages, this slide so that you can add all trainings to your calendar. Never miss a training. Just add the calendar, sync this calendar to your calendar. The lab office hours will come up. All you have to do is hit the Zoom link. The trainings will come up. All you have to do is hit the Zoom link. This is for if you are missing text message alerts. This is for the YouTube channel, for you can go back and listen to the recording. Perfect. She said I'm obsessed. And that's our day, guys. Go drink some water.
All right. Thank you so much.
See y'all later.
These hours go by too quick.
Thank
Way
you,
too quick.
Nicole.
Not a problem. See y'all later.
Nicole, I swear,
Yes.
this is so good. It was so good. It was speaking like directly to my thick head. So I appreciate it.
Just said my big head. You're so funny. Listen, preaching to the choir, Jay. You know that we're always tweaking, always improving. Um, yeah, always, always, always. And again, my biggest gift for you guys, from you guys with this is just go do the work. Go be happy in your business, right? All right,
Yes.
guys. I'll see you later. Let me see what